York-bound publication. Episode 4: A Night in Paradise. As the Doubie Brothers and their cousin Trigga moved in on Montay, for what was certainly about to be a critical beatdown, I held on to Mahogany a little tighter. She was jonesing to get back into the action that was surely just starting. I was fully expecting her to start swinging on me again, but she didn't. Instead, she turned around and gave me that same heart-stealing smile that she had been using to steal my heart, and probably a bunch of others, since our Conwell days. Little shit like that used to work on me back when I was a child, but I'm a grown-ass man now. And honestly, I'm even more confused about why she always smiled at me like that every now and then. Anyways, chairs and table throwing type of shit broke out shortly after the Doubies entered. Why? Once again, some territorial shit that has been going on way too long around here. Tay was from Huntingdon Street, and the Doubies weren't. Luckily, cooler heads prevailed before things got too far out of hand. But that wasn't really the big picture here. At least not from where I was standing. The bigger picture involved me and Mahogany. I never let her go during the entire little scuffle that almost broke out. She never asked me to let go of her that whole time either. At some point she put her hands on top of mine, and just let them touch, as I held her by the waist. I know it sounds dumb, but I felt. Come on, mama. We came out to party tonight, not for all of this drama. Wow, if there was a picture of cock blocking in the dictionary, this is what it would have looked like. I'm pretty sure of that shit. Michelle's drunk ass just jumped right in and grabbed Mahogany by the arm. Hold up. Gimme a minute. Mahogany said as she playfully slapped Michelle's hand away, before she turned and looked at me. Rain check? She said through her lovely smile. I had no idea what I was rain checking, but I nodded in the affirmative anyway. I watched Mahogany as she turned and walked away, after we exchanged numbers, and a hug. Mahogany, Michelle, and Trina headed for the exit. This was likely just the first stop on a night of bar-hopping for the three. I watched as Montay followed them out the door. I laughed as I shook my head. "Da fuck is going on over there?" I said out loud without even meaning to. "High-stakes poker game." I heard a voice respond to my inquiry. Dash. It was my youngin' Vic. And he was with one of my other favorite youngins, Deep Waters. But these dudes didn't look like the same youngins that I remember. 12 years ago these little jokers were going to the store for dudes like myself. Now, these two were standing in front of me, all decked out in three-piece suits that had to easily have set them back $10,000-$50,000. Easy. Vic was wearing a watch that was so expensive, that I wouldn't even attempt to tell you I know how to pronounce the shit. And Deep Waters? Man, this joker had on a ring that had so many diamonds in it, that the bar could have turned off the lights, and we'd still be lit. You heard? These two cats were the living definition of fly. But they were still my youngins. I had to grind these weird little niggas up a little. At least, for old time's sake, right? My two favorite people in the world, Victor Whipped Cream Land and Deep Dickhead. I managed to get out of my mouth before I bust out laughing. As I looked over at the two, my smile began to fade. These jackasses didn't even crack a smile. As a matter of fact, it was starting to feel like these jokers were about to scuff my boots in this joint. If you know, it might have been the Victor Whipped Creamland John. It could have been the Deep Dickhead John too, though. Either way, I think I may have gone too far with the funny shit this time. Vic and Deep looked at me, before they looked at each other and bust out laughing. I took a deep breath as I laughed with them. I thought this shit was about to go in a different direction. You still gamble? Deep asked me as he looked into my eyes. I looked down at my feet. I always did this when I was about to lie. Dash. The reason I left the neighborhood 12 years ago was not because I was looking for a fresh start, as I've told a few people. The real reason I left was gambling. Well, gambling debts. I pulled an old-fashioned skadoodle move, grew wings and flew away, ran off on the plug. Didn't matter what you called it. I did it. I owed people a shitload of money. I owed gravy to a lot of mean hombres around this motherfucker. Feel me? All of my troubles came from gambling. I was one of those people who never won. Seriously. Like, never. Even when I won, I was still down, because I probably just won a lot less than I'd lost earlier today, or the day before. You still with me? No? Let me make it a little easier for you to understand. I was a real loser at gambling. My luck was a little different with the ladies though. If you catch my drift. Wink wink. Anyway, Vic and Deep didn't own the bar, but they did own the casino in the basement, which was the reason Deep asked if I still gambled. The last group of people I wanted to be around right now were gamblers. I just told you I owed Lodi, Dadi, and every motherfucking body around this bitch money. 95% of that shit I owed came from loan sharking motherfuckers. The other 5% was owed to Jessica, and that wasn't a money debt. I think Jess was out for blood. That's a whole other story. And I hope to take that one to the grave with me. But yeah, if I ever ran into Jess, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if she killed me, or tried to. That bitch crazy. Just saying her name sends chills down my spine.